do today, it's a talk show format. The designers that are professors at Insight first present to you their perspective of Insight, and then present to you the guests they have invited to present their perspective.
A couple of years, we also started looking at the other flows that are entering our cities, and actually we started researching them and developing techniques in order to make them more useful to us. We have about 10 to 15 different ones that we are looking at these moments, and those are also the basis for the research group that we're running here inside.
So what happened in the Korean situation, the fragmentation of the society, which in fact is incredibly tribal, still, I consider one of the most tribal societies that you could enter. And, but let's compare with the United States. The United States, typically family breaks up over great distance by jobs. Okay. One kid lives in New York, one kid lives in LA, the other kid lives in Chicago, and one lives in Miami. Right? And then they might go down to Phoenix. The Koreans basically fragment their family because of investments, housing. You buy a property, and then you have to move because there's another one, a newer one that you could invest on. So you have to constantly move in order to make money. Then maybe like West Germans sending their kids to Berlin or something, but families start buying, and then they send their kids to different apartments to sit for a while until they can sell them. Right? So that's how Korean family fragments. What we did was that, so first project was, I'll just go through really fast, was Suzanne Lacey from Los Angeles. She does performative works. These are about women in incredibly patriarchal society, Korea, which is. It's about getting them together through different generations, but most importantly, what you'll see through this whole presentation is just people. And people talking about themselves in relation to the problems and issues that they have. A series of working with two different universities. We also established international artists to work together with universities so that they could deal with cultural spatial assimilation. And so they did research at the design school and a business school. They gave advices. And then the business people had to make a proposal for new ideas to improve their business, develop entrepreneurship, and then they presented this in the city hall. One of my favorite projects, Korean artist Kim Worsik, he basically built a container next to a recycling center and organized as a kind of a design workshop. Kids came around, they stayed 6 months, and eventually evolved. One of them was to take down these banners from the election mostly, wash it up, and hang it. And I don't have very good pictures, but they made beautiful bags with it. Also tents. Like the other project that I didn't get to show you is called New Silk Road Project, and these are the trips that I've taken over the 1 year period. And then before that, I did Lost Highway Project, Europe Lost and Found, Shrinking Cities, this house from Detroit that traveled, and then the Gwangju Biennale I curated was also about the city. So I did most, like, that's kind of an illustration of nomadicism. And the way the way I describe the city in nomadic way is that the cities can be primarily seen by two major group of people. One is the residents. I'm telling you this incredibly non-intellectual way. And the way they see the city is you see the city from inside itself. And then you have the tourist who sees the city from the outside perspective. Interesting aspect about I like to think about is the residents is that when you live in a city, you actually are like a blind person. You actually, like for instance, you never take a picture of your own city, right? You go, and when you go to a tourist agent or where you buy the ticket, you're surprised that how many buildings are in the brochures. You never imagine, gee, I never thought that people were so much interested in architecture, right? But that's what sells. And people go and take photos all the time. So we are like blind people walking around with our eyes closed. We know we get around by touching things and maybe smelling things. We do it a different way. The way I've been doing is I've been observing the city while I'm moving. And I thought that it would be important to do that because I realized some time ago, actually in Detroit, that cities move, physically moves. So Korean society is incredibly physically, spatially nomadic, but they maintain context regardless. Yeah. So it is it's probably the way to deal with a city and the physical society that is constantly transforming.
Inside, and we in the urban studio really want to dedicate our journey into this large scale, this expansion of the idea of interior. And what is inside? Are we still looking at the traditional language of private and public space, or is it flipping the other way? It's maybe inside out these days because of the changing borders between private and public space. So in our studio we'll now, as a working title, called the City of Terminals, because more and more of these spaces we are using on a daily basis are terminal-like. They're mobility hubs, and you can wonder if they are part of city. And one of the latest attempts is also to get new public space through the building. So what we want to do in the urban studio is to rethink the urban from inside.
For me, Chance interests me specifically in making architecture because either logic or ratio or like a beauty or that something resembles something other is how the work is judged and how the work is judged if it's being good or not good. And when you use chance, the possible becomes apparent in the sense of what is merely conceivable. And the idea that all things can be perceived and conceived differently. And therefore my chance, as I propose in the studio and propose today, is a plea for imagination, for invention, for discovery, and the possibility always to have multiple interpretations of things.
One of the things that I say very often in my studio in Sri Lanka, or one of the comments that I have on products that people are making is it's too designed.
That it is not one thing anymore. It is not one logic. And I think that's what interests me in chance. I think that's the thing. That it's not a partial thing, like you're thinking of something, you follow a kind of order. I'm thinking of making a chair, I get wood, I get this and this, and then I make a chair, and it's all from a kind of logic, I made a chair. And then everyone sees that logic in the final product, in the chair. What I like about chance is that you already start working with things which has a kind of non-logic in a way, or can be anything which is the non-logic. And then even when you start working with it, it still has the non-logic at the end, because it has this kind of arbitrariness or this kind of, how do you call it, kind of nature-like appearance, or you don't know exactly why there's a little curve over there and not over there.
Yeah, well, for me, intuition is when you cannot say why you make a certain choice, but you know very well why you make a certain choice. Or you know very well that the choice you made is the good choice.
Yeah, you are making a choice.
Yeah.
It's a very subconscious choices of, like your life decisions mostly that we experience, that we have a kind of a feeling, emotional feeling.
I think it's also a function of art to evoke things.
Yeah, and that's why
could not explain it, but it was a pure chance.
I think your subconscious brain knows all the problems that are